think there's a pretty well accepted triumvirate of the greatest rappers of all time conversation for the 2010s, and it's often Kendrick, J. Cole, Drake.
Yep.
To me, in terms of like artistry, it's Kendrick, huge gap, then J. Cole, then Drake. In terms of success and cultural impact, it's Drake, not so big of a gap, Kendrick, huge gap, J. Cole. So like kind of whichever way you want to measure it, he's not at the top. So I don't know, that just affects in some ways his standing, even though I do respect him greatly as an artist. And I mean, he's still number 17 in the top 20. But, I don't have as much appreciation for him as I do for a Drake or for a Kendrick. And often I like his features better than some of his like album work. Like his feature on A Lot by 21 Savage is one of my favorite verses he's ever done.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I don't know. So that's my feelings on this. But Steve, where are you at with this project?
I'm glad that we're discussing J. Cole, and I'm glad that we're discussing it today instead of 2 days ago. And I got to shout out my homie Dre, because we were talking about Cole in, one of the group chats, and he encouraged me to re-listen to The Fall Off. And up until that point, I had been struggling a bit with my perspectives on The Fall Off. And, especially after re-listening to The Fall Off, re-listening to Friday Night Lights, re-listening to even, KOD, it made it a bit harder for me to continue to accept 2014 Forest Hills Drive as the representation of J. Cole's best body of work for a top 20 compilation. But the album itself, I think, at this point in his career, it's, his third album. He had a bit of a lofty expectation with the first project that I think for his expectations and the fans' expectations, his debut was excellent, but didn't meet the hope, that folks were kind of hearing whenever they heard Lupe's debut. And so Born Sinner helped to reset expectations and really opened up J. Cole to a listener base that was substantially broader and significantly more of a catalyst for his celebrity status in a lot of ways. And then 2014 Forest Hills Drive was that introspective, reflective opportunity to kind of bridge the gap of where I've been versus where I'm about to go. I think it was very symbolic that he took the photo of him sitting on the roof of his childhood home as the album cover, and coinciding with the title of the album. So I'm first, I'll just say, like, with all of that said, I'm definitely open to discussing this and keeping this as the representation of Cole on the list. But personally, after going back and revisiting his discography, especially starting with The Fall Off, but then going back to Friday Night Lights and KOD, those three albums may hold up in the long term more than 2014 Forest Hills Drive will.
So the only thing I'll say about 2014 Forest Hills Drive, in addition to kind of what you said, is it feels like his own response to Good Kid, Mad City, in the sense that Kendrick told this very autobiographical story, and this was J. Cole's response to that. I won't say his version of it, because they are different, but nonetheless his own take on the kind of origin stories of J. Cole.
Yeah.
And You know, to me, the only one that you didn't mention, and it actually has my favorite J. Cole track ever, is "For Your Eyes Only."
Yeah.
Neighbors is my favorite and will remain my favorite J. Cole song forever. And I don't foresee that changing.
Great
Although
song.
maybe shit, what's the one off the most recent one? The Fall Off. It is the double track, and I was talking about this with my buddies the other day. Bombs in the Ville / Hit the Gas. Love that track a lot, and it feels like J. Cole was listening to a lot of Frank Ocean, and with the beat switches, with the sonics, there's a lot of Frank Ocean influence that I'm hearing on the Fall Off. That hasn't had enough time to digest, but I do think that will hold up like fine wine eventually.
The Fall Off will certainly,
Yep.
The Fall Off will certainly hold up like fine wine.
Yeah, but 2014 Forest Hills Drive is a great representation. Great stuff from J. Cole. Best song for you? What do you think? Best song? To me, it's between two.
I would say that the best song is either Love Yours or No Role Models.
I think it's probably No Role Models for me. It's the one I return to all the time. Is that also the biggest song? Or is
Probably.
Wet Dreams bigger?
No. No Role Models, I think, is the biggest song whenever it comes to this album. But the one that I revisit the most, interestingly enough, is Hello. I've played that song more than any other song on this album by a substantial margin.
Interesting.
And you know what is also very interesting? The second most played song that I have of this album is Note to Self.
Note to Self is really good.
Yeah. And I've always wondered how those two are far and away the most listened to songs that I've had for this album versus any of the other songs. And it is such a significant margin that it almost feels like I didn't even listen to the rest of the album whenever it comes to the play count.
Does Tidal track this for you? Where are you getting this?
No, I also have iTunes. I keep MP3s of things that I really love, just in case streaming pulls the plug one day. I
lost it all once upon a time, and I couldn't return to it. I used to have all that, and I loved it. That data was huge. But I think No Role Models is the best song and the biggest song.
Yes.
Worst song. I think it's Wet Dreams. It's weird.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah, that's one that I skip.
Yeah.
It
was a huge song and a huge single at the time.
I never even needed it at the time. I was good.
Me neither. 3-song sequence. I think you kind of identified it in the sense that I think it needs to include No Role Models and Hello. It's just a matter of whether we want Apparently on the tail end of that, or do we want GOMD on the opening of that?
GOMD on the opening. Absolutely.
I think that's absolutely the 3-song sequence of this act.
For sure. Yep. Definitely.
Okay.